Hi, my name is Paul Gentile, President of the Massachusetts Credit Union League, New Hampshire Credit Union League, and the Credit Union Association of Rhode Island. Our three leagues have had a proud history of working cooperatively together for the benefit of our member credit unions. Throughout 2014, the boards of the three associations and myself have been working on a merger framework to officially merge the three organizations. The merged league will be called the Cooperative Credit Union Association, creating cooperative power. We believe there's great synergies and great opportunity by bringing these three associations together, and now is the right time to do so. We are nearing the voting process. The vote will occur October 8th in Rhode Island, October 15th in New Hampshire, and October 22nd in Massachusetts. Over the next few weeks, you will be getting information on how your credit union can participate in this vote. It is very important that your voice is heard and you have a good understanding of what this merger will mean to your credit union. During this video, you will see leaders from each of the three states will present their thoughts, concepts, and ideas about this merger and why we think it's in the best interest of our member credit unions.
I think the trigger for us to take a look at our three-state structure and consider a merger was we started taking a look at the industry, what was going on in the industry in terms of consolidation, in terms of cost increases, and we took a look at our own operation and said, hey, there might be a better way to do this, and that's what kicked off the conversation.
So I think a more sleek, slim, from a governance perspective, a little bit more nimble, being able to react to certain situations. So I think it's a good idea. I think everybody agrees, and we'll soon find out when all the members actually take it to a vote.
These three states have a long, proud history of working together. The Credit Union Association of Rhode Island, the New Hampshire Credit Union League, and the Massachusetts Credit Union League have had management agreement in place for 20+ years. This merger is really the next step of that, the next evolution. It gives the opportunity to bring the three together and strategically work together for the greater good of everyone involved in the new association, which will be called the Cooperative Credit Union Association.
The merger is truly going to be what is in the future for the Credit Union Association of Rhode Island and what is in the future for the merged organization. And I think Rhode Island can certainly benefit from the merged organization, because what's going to happen is we're not any longer going to be 20 credit unions. We're going to be 200-something credit unions. Rhode Island is now part of that power. We're not just 20 credit unions anymore. We're 200-something credit unions as part of that whole organization.
Member benefits post-merger will be in terms of streamlined operations. I think we'll be redirecting our resources to things like advocacy, education, and compliance, and away from things that were duplication of efforts in the three states.
Post-merger, one group effort. 9 directors made up from a portion from Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and New Hampshire, leading the way in a consolidated, cooperative way. We are cooperative, obviously a cooperative industry and a cooperative association. Banding all that capital together, not only human capital but in physical dollars too, to increase the role of advocacy, going to Capitol Hill, one voice, the Cooperative Credit Union Association, rather than 3 split voices from 3 different states.
Core role of what we do here, the most important thing that we do here is advocacy. Advocacy is everything for a credit union state trade association, and we will put more resources into the advocacy front. I mean, if you look at the environment today, we're faced with more challenges on the regulatory front, whether it's a National Credit Union Administration or state regulators, the CFPB. We really need to be sharp in those areas. So we're spending a lot more time there assisting our credit unions in those areas, advocating for them in those areas. And then, of course, on the legislative front, the bankers continue to attack us. We just saw that in New Hampshire. We had an interesting battle there, which we won. We'll be able to put more resources into those advocacy avenues that are so important to the future of credit unions.
We will be known as the Credit Unions of Rhode Island, and outsiders, so people that are outside of the credit union but here in Rhode Island, that's what they will know us as. So to an outsider, there's no difference. We still are the Credit Unions of Rhode Island.
I think the beauty of this structure is our ability to maintain a local brand as well as a national presence. In each state, we'll be known as, in the case of New Hampshire, we'll be known as New Hampshire Credit Unions when we're dealing with our local officials, state legislators, local business partners. And at the national level, we'll be known as the Cooperative Credit Union Association. Again, we'll be able to speak as a tri-state enterprise with a lot more influence that way. So we get the national brand and presence we need and want, but we also get that local that we have to be successful.
I think branding is one of the most exciting things about this merger, and probably will be one of the biggest benefits for our membership. So on the corporate level, we will be the Cooperative Credit Union Association, and we love that name because that's who we are. We're cooperatives, not-for-profit financial cooperatives serving our member owners. And here in New England, we're the birthplace of credit unions, so I think that's a fantastic name to represent us going forward. On the local level, and this is where I think credit unions will really see an upgrade, on the local level, the name will change in that we will no longer use league or association. And I think that's powerful. Rather than being the Massachusetts Credit Union League, the New Hampshire Credit Union League, Credit Union Association of Rhode Island, we're simply going to be Massachusetts Credit Unions, New Hampshire Credit Unions, Credit Unions of Rhode Island. And the reason you want to do that is when you're talking to regulators, lawmakers, consumers, that's how you represent yourself. You represent credit unions.
Yeah, in putting this all together, when the groups got together, it was very important that the fundraising piece and the charities stayed local, and the chapters stayed in place. So I think that was a pretty easy fix, or an easy way to say, yeah, sure, because it's still important to have that voice locally, and show the community that the credit unions are still invested in the local community, although we belong to a much larger group. And so that was vitally important to the success of putting this entire merger together. But on the local level, when we walk to a state house, it's representing New Hampshire's credit unions, representing Massachusetts credit unions, representing Rhode Island's credit unions, the Cooperative Credit Union Association. So it's a movement, and we want to continue along those lines of cooperation together.
First and foremost, when I put our three states together, the first one we're going to make sure it doesn't happen is we lose our local identity. As each state will, I'll speak for New Hampshire. In New Hampshire, whenever we're dealing locally with state legislative, local officials, local businesses, we will be speaking as New Hampshire credit unions. When we get to the national level or deal with national business partners, we'll be the Cooperative Credit Union Association. So that you cross the border into Massachusetts, you'll be the Massachusetts credit unions, and in Rhode Island, you'll be Rhode Island credit unions. Very, very important for us to make sure that we stay connected locally as we always have.
We're a big benefactor in the Special Olympics of Rhode Island, so we will remain as such, and that committee will still exist, and will still be able to do the duties that it has been performing for all of these years. The other little piece of that pie, and I know us in Rhode Island feel a special kinship towards that, is what we do, what we have each year, which is our basketball. We used to call it the Basketball Classic. Now it's the Credit Unions of Rhode Island Basketball Championships. And the association will still be supporting that, so we will still be known as the Credit Unions of Rhode Island, supporting the basketball championships of Rhode Island.
In the Cooperative Credit Union Association, there'll be 9 directors. 2 from New Hampshire, 2 from Rhode Island, and 5 from Massachusetts. Each state will have a representative of a large credit union and a small credit union. Very important for folks to know that a lot of time and energy was spent on this model to ensure that everybody's voice was heard.
Board structure was basically when we came together, governance was a huge piece for putting this together and making sure that everybody was comfortable with the structure that we came out with, or the final calculation. So we'll have 5 members from Massachusetts on the board, 2 from New Hampshire and 2 from Rhode Island.
And one of the key aspects of the governance is size. We will be using average asset size to determine the seats. We want all sizes of credit unions to be represented. So we take the average asset size in each state. We'll have some seats above the average, some seats below the average to make sure it's equal. So in Massachusetts, we have 2 above the average, 2 below the average, and then we have 1 at-large seat. In Rhode Island, we have 1 above, 1 below. New Hampshire, 1 above, 1 below. So we have 9 members. We're ensured we're going to have diversity on the asset size. Another important thing with the governance is there will be supermajority provisions. In other words, on key things that we're agreeing to here, a merger, working with other states, the board would have to vote in supermajority fashion. That means no one state could dominate the other when you talk about a key strategic issue.
The chapter system in New Hampshire won't change per se. I think that's great news. We have 2 very strong and active chapters, one in the Monadnock area, one in the Merrimack Valley. Very active in terms of education, in terms of social responsibility and political fundraising, a chance to network with credit union peers. That will not change, and in fact could be enhanced.
One annual meeting together, rather than 3 separate events. I think, again, sharing, the cooperative effort, sharing the knowledge, networking together as one association at one annual meeting rather than 3 separate events will be much more cost-effective, much more, slimlined situation.
Our plan would be to move those locations of those meetings around the 3-state area, assuming we can find the right locations for that. Strong education component, trade shows. I think there'll be valuable experiences and events for credit union professionals and credit union volunteers.
I think the best way to talk about the annual meeting is local. We will bring the annual meeting back to the local level here in New England. It's very important for an annual meeting where a member credit union may have to vote on an issue or wants to take part in all the great networking and educational content, that they can get to the meeting easily, that it's accessible. So having it back here in New England in the local area will allow us to do that. We will have a traditional annual meeting, and by traditional I mean a big exhibit hall, a full track of education. You'll have something for directors and volunteers. You'll have something for professionals and management. And in midst of that, we'll have great networking opportunities.
You're going to get more bang for your buck. You're going to get, I think, combined entity has more power. Combined entity has more resources and the ability to reach out where you may not have had those resources before. So one combined entity, you're going to give you more bang for your buck.
I do believe, again, that although we represent just a small amount of credit unions, that we now will be part of a bigger organization.
I think the structure that we have, the work that was put into this structure will bode well for the Cooperative Credit Union Association.
Thank you for watching this video. I urge you to participate in the merger process and vote on this important proposal. As a recap, the votes will be October 8th in Rhode Island, October 15th in New Hampshire, and October 22nd in Massachusetts. Also, each credit union will have an e-voting option to participate should you be unable to attend the special meeting or not see the need to. I urge you, if you have any questions or comments about the merger, to contact myself or any of your board representatives in your respective states. We think this is a great opportunity for our credit unions, and we are excited about the future as we move forward together as a Cooperative Credit Union Association. Thank you.